Hello, my name is Chelsea Hawkins, and welcome to my critique on the positive effects podcasts have in classrooms for the University of South Carolina ED/ET 780 class. The case study I am using is a 2008 article named Podcasting in Middle School, a case study and implications for teacher education, which was retrieved on May 13, 2015. The study focused on the efforts of two middle school curriculum developers at University Laboratory School in Honolulu, Hawaii, in using podcast as a project-based assessment mechanism to engage students in collaborative learning and to prepare students to be contributors to an increasingly digital society. The purpose of the study was to assess podcast use in the classroom and discover whether they have a positive effect on student learning and how the students use them in each classroom. The participants of the study was a 7th grade English class taught by Dr. Guyan and an 8th grade computer literacy class taught by Miss Hamilton in a school in Honolulu, Hawaii. Guyan and Hamilton were the curriculum developers as well as the authors of this case study. The two teachers had to be cautious when introducing podcasts into their curricula to avoid getting caught up in teaching about technology. Instead, they had to pay close attention to retaining the 4 essential elements of learning. Number 1, active engagement. Number 2, participation in groups. Number 3, frequent interaction and feedback. And number 4, connections to real-world context. The goal of the 7th grade English class was to write a story and record it as a podcast. The core reason for using the podcast was to enhance cognitive, collaborative, and social interactions amongst the students. It is crucial to understand that writing and performance were the essential learning goals and not the podcast. The students had to develop a sense of story and character while paying attention to sound effects and music that would engage a listening audience. In grades 6 and 7, they used audio tape recorders, but they now use GarageBand since technology has changed. The students adopted popular children's tales from Greek mythology to Harry Potter. They were able to put their own unique ideas and twists on the tales and were allowed to revise their stories as many times as they needed to become satisfied. The goal of the 8th grade computer literacy class was to have the students teach a skill or share an idea that they learned while attending their course. The core reason for using the podcast was to provide another means of technological expression, thereby increasing the students' digital literacy. Also, it allows the students to demonstrate the concept of teaching and sharing via podcast. The final podcast topics included lessons in internet safety and responsibility, tips and techniques for work processing, guidelines for adding animations and transition in presentation software, how-to lessons in creating graphs and charts, and advice on developing effective websites. The students first wrote a script and then added images to enhance their message. The following are limitations found in this study of using podcasts in the classroom. In this particular study, the authors were high-level technology users. Currently, not many teachers have institutions that prepare them for the use of podcasts. Therefore, the results could vary for a teacher who does not have as much knowledge on using podcasts. The case study clearly defined the research question, which was whether podcasts would have a positive effect on students and if effective learning would take place. The study was well organized and written with headings to identify the topic being discussed. The process to achieve the classroom goal was identified and the conclusion of the results was stated, which was, at the start of the year, students scored 14 out of 20 points for technical mastery, and then at the end they scored 19 out of 20 points. Therefore, the students did find podcasts to have a positive effect in their learning. The case study supported a learning theory, which was cognitive, collaborative, and social interactions for the 7th grade class, and a deterministic approach in the 8th grade class. This study was similar to my research topic in the sense of both discover ways in which to use technology to enhance learning. However, mine is more centered towards visual technology and not audio such as this one. I gained new knowledge after reading this story. However, it did not state what school took part in the study, which I would have liked to know. In conclusion, this was a valuable case study that demonstrated how 2 different types of classes use podcasts to enhance student learning. This study would be helpful for schools interested in podcasting or for any teacher looking for ways in which to use podcasts in their classroom. The limitations of the study was that it was based off of two high-level technology teachers. The scores could vary if a teacher not so technologically advanced taught the course. Also, the authors did not interview any students, which would have given student opinions on the benefits they perceived. Lastly, the duration of the study was in 2008, which is not very current. Therefore, questions to examine next are the validity of the rubrics used in both courses. If rubrics of achievement are developed and validated, the podcast can become a sufficient assessment tool. This concludes my second critique of EDET 780 for the University of South Carolina. This template was taken from PowerPoint. Thanks for watching.